You guys ready?
Yeah.
Do a quick intro.
Well, I mean, I'm not sliding in again.
No.
But we could just clip that in.
Yeah.
But we do want to talk, while Mike is going through his phone, we do want to talk about the difference, what SEER really means. And in this one, it's more, we have our own beliefs, we have our own reasonings why. Effectively, it's based on what EPA regulations require, right?
Yes.
The EPA requires us to only install certain SEER ratings. Certain states require different ones, like California has their own rating and
They're
stuff.
up to what, 15 or 16 SEER?
I think they are. I don't really care
As
if
the
it's
baseline?
California, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to go do work in California anymore. But certain manufacturers won't even create a SEER lower than what California does, because they're just like, well, it's the regular states are going to go there anyway.
Yeah. They assume
Yeah, they assume a lot.
that the trend is going to move that way.
Yeah. But SEER is basically what? Energy efficiency, right? The higher the rating, the more energy efficient that system is.
Meaning that
Yeah.
for every bit of electricity it takes in, you're getting a better ratio of
BTUs. Yeah.
work done.
Of work done, yeah.
And what are
So you're-
BTUs?
British thermal units, so how we measure temperature. It is just one of the things that we said, hey, the British got it right, so we'll just keep it.
So the theoretical basis of a better SEER rating is that in equal conditions, a SEER rating higher will give you a lower energy bill
Yeah.
for the same amount of energy used.
Yeah.
Or I should not for the same amount used, but for the same amount of output
Yeah.
from the system.
Yeah.
So it's making your house comfortable for cheaper than what a lower SEER rating would.
But here's where my personal opinion comes into play. Unless you're in places like California or New York or places that have high energy efficiency bills, the cost difference between the SEERs,
The purchase cost.
yeah, the purchase cost difference between the SEERs is almost astronomical, especially
Yes.
when you get into the higher 20 SEERs.
A single number, you're looking at a few $1,000s.
Yeah. And so you go and you calculate that out, if you're consuming a lot of energy, like if you have an old unit, an old, 8 SEER, 10 SEER unit, and getting a new SEER, between 8 and 13 SEER, which is what I think the lowest we can go, those units you're gonna see a big price difference. Between, say 17 and 20 SEER, you're not really going to see much of a difference. I don't think that you're going to really go, okay, yeah. I mean, there'll be a difference there, but the amount of money you are spending,
Right.
broken over the lifetime of that unit,
That is a very
is,
expensive unit.
yeah,
With a lifespan equivalent to the cheaper unit.
yeah. So the lifespan is, and to be honest, with lifespan of the higher SEER ratings, they have more components.
Mm-hmm.
They have more things to fail.
More
So
fail
you
points.
more fail points, which means more money you may have to spend in repairs, more time you have to spend on stuff. And the big thing that I do want to touch on briefly is warranty. Warranty covers the part, not the labor.
Mm-hmm.
So when you got a part that comes in, now you can purchase labor warranties, but
Sometimes.
sometimes. But you got a part that's failing, and you got more parts that can fail. You're going to pay for that technician to come out. You're just going to get the part for free. And wear and tear parts, because warranty has certain wear and tear parts that they don't do. Capacitors, contactors. Some contactors are covered under, depending on which manufacturer does it. If they believe in their contactors or the ones that they use, but capacitors are almost never covered. They're only, $60 on average, but
Well, and those are parts that you're going to find even in a lower SEER rated
Yeah.
unit.
yeah, you're
In
gonna
a
find
high SEER rating unit that's got an inverter, motor, and all of that.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a
Control board
contactor, you're not
connected
going to
to
have
the control.
capacitors, you're going to have a control board that has that stuff built into it, and they don't fail the same way.
Yeah.
But if that board fails, that's a very, very, very expensive part to replace.
Yeah. So that's when a warranty is beneficial
Yes.
because the warranty covers that part. But me going out there or you going out there and finding out what's wrong with
Yeah,
it.
the diagnostic
It's-
process is much more
Yeah.
extensive.
Yes.
A contactor is immediate.
Yeah.
You know,
And
you know whether a contactor is working or not.
Yeah, I keep those on my truck. And sometimes it's not even worth going through the warranty because some warranties require like a down payment. It's like a $50 warranty charge on some
75 through carrier now.
carriers.
80 for certain things.
Wow, that's insane. So, the fact that you got to pay those, just
And the contactor's only $60, so.
yeah, might as well just pay the $60 for me to put in a contactor that tried to go through the warranty process.
The $10 to not jump through all the hoops.
Yeah, I would rather. I had one customer. I told him, I was like, listen, it's under warranty. It's got a year left. I can get this contactor and go get it under warranty and come. It's a pretty expensive contactor. It was a pretty big one. But I had a contactor on my truck, and I was like, I have one, and we could either spend the $25 and me drive all the way to go get the part, or you could spend the $50 for me to just put this contactor in, and you don't have to pay my travel or any of that stuff. So that was, and you get it down now. You get cooling now, and so that's a lot of the times that the warranty is like, hey, we got away with it. You don't have to cover that because they know it's the most commonly failed part is most commonly going to be on a service technician's truck. And if we decide later on, hey, we'll go pay the $25 so I can get a contactor back. I'm going to be upfront and honest with it. I'm going to be like, listen, you can either pay me to go out and get it and put the exact one in, or we put the contactor I have in on there. I'm going to call in the warranty, and I'm going to pick up next time I'm at the shop. But you get cooling now, and I get a cheaper contactor. It's all the same contactor. I use the same one, so it doesn't void a warranty. But I just happen to have them on my truck because we work on Goodman and all that a lot. There's a lot of Goodman out there, and they're very reliable in my opinion. But SEER rating, to get back on topic, SEER rating is always going to be dependent on your electrical, what you're seeing.
Yeah.
I don't know your day-to-day all the time, but
Well, there's other things. The reason why this gets so complicated is because all the other factors that come into play with why is that system running.
yeah,
So the system's only costing you electricity while it's running.
yeah,
The theory is that a better SEER system runs less and less hard
yeah,
to achieve the same output.
yeah,
When that comes into play again is how long has it been since your windows have been updated in the house?
yeah,
When was the last time insulation was checked and redone in the attic and
Yeah.
even underneath the house?
And your doors
Have
sealed.
you had gaps sealed, things like that?
yeah,
How much energy is your house, period, losing at
Yeah.
like a baseline? Because if we come in and install each system of different SEER ratings,
yeah,
they're all probably going to function the exact same way, using the exact same amount of energy in a inefficient home
yeah,
versus in a very efficiently built and designed home.
yeah,
So if it's
And also, the
Right.
larger the building, the more square footage it's covering, the more you're going to see the energy efficiency reflected, correct?
the more you'll see a savings.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's like, that's why SEER rating becomes very important in commercial,
Oh, yeah.
industrial type applications because those systems run all the time.
yeah. But your house, your home, on the weekends and at night, if you got a full-time job. Now, if you're a stay-at-home person or you work from home or you like to keep it cool for your dogs or your pets at your house, you don't ever turn it off, yeah, you're going to see a significant difference.
Well, I mean, even
But I mean,
when it comes to like for a commercial setting that they're running all the time because those things, they're not worried about the insulation of the building or the energy efficiency of the building, unless some business owns a building or they designed it themselves, and then they have specific units they get put in.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this number is designed to reflect towards commercial applications, and it's used to sell residential units.
Yeah, it's going to save you. It can save you. They always like to put that. It can save you up to, just like Geico can save you up to, $3,000. And I'm like, I'm not even paying $3,000. Are they going to give me money? No. It's a sales tax.
But the ultimate, what it always comes down to is it can potentially save you money, and it likely will. So a better SEER rated unit it might save you $200 on your energy bill throughout the year versus a lower rated one. That
you're using California numbers.
Yeah, I'm just saying those numbers are going to range.
Yeah.
But it's all about a yearly dollar amount savings.
Yeah.
And then we need to weigh that against, is that calculated over, I don't even know if we want to say 20 or 10 years.
Yeah, and that new life
or 10 years.
10 to 15, yeah.
Calculate that number over 10 years, and does it justify the cost difference between the higher SEER unit versus the lower SEER unit?
Yeah.
If you're only saving $1,000 a year, or $1,000 over those 10 years,
and you spent
and the unit
costs
more, $3,000 more, you didn't save any money.
Yeah.
You spent a lot more money for the idea of saving money.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Because again, the difference between commercial and residential is when you're home, you tend to be home. Unless you're one of those busybodies that in and out of the house all the time, constantly opening that door, constantly getting that stuff in there, you tend to be, hey, I come home from work, I open the door, I shut it, and then that's it. It don't open again. I don't even...
Your power company will absolutely love you for installing the higher SEER rated one.
Yeah, and they'll give you cutbacks.
Yeah, you might get a tax break. You might get a rebate. There's depending on what what you're going through.
Again, they put those rebates in there and they give it to you because they basically know. They know that it's just.
It's why we don't use those as any kind of sales tactic, because it's not. For one, we're not going to sit down and come and weigh out the full analysis on whether that unit's going to save you money or not in the long run. That's a consumer's job to figure that out on their own. But we're also not going to sit there and steer you in a direction when we don't know ourselves.
Yeah, we don't know the caveat, how much you go through. Now, I can give those questions. I can say, hey, how often are you opening and closing your doors? Do you have dual pane windows? Because most energy efficiency, I'm Green Star certified, which is an energy efficiency certification. It's a 2-day class to get certified. But the main thing that he was saying through the whole thing, he's teaching a whole bunch of HVAC people that the most energy you're going to save is in the insulation in the walls, the insulation in your attic, and dual pane windows, and whether you have a good sealed R-rated front door.
And none of that is work that we do.
Yeah, none of it's work we do. But those are the most energy efficiencies you're going to get. That is what's going to save you the most money. Getting less wear and tear, removing and storing the air that's inside your house to keep it cooler longer. That is what's going to give you the most energy. Now, the most expensive piece of equipment on your house is your HVAC equipment. Mm-hmm. But the things that can help that and keep the less time you use the unit, the less wear and tear you're putting on the unit. The less you use it, the more energy you save. So if you're about to spend, you're like, hey, my energy bill's way too high, but my unit's working, it's fine, it'll be fine for the next 5 years, but it's just a little too high. 2 things I would check. One, was it sized correctly? Because size does matter. It has to.
We all knew.
The end of the day.
Size does matter. If you have too small of a unit on a large house, that unit's never going to shut off. It may finally get to that comfort zone, but it won't shut off.
Mighty Mouse is going to keep working.
Yeah. But the other thing is, I would rather spend the money on putting dual pane windows in putting in a better front door because it's going to be way less expensive than a brand new unit.
I'd
to be
rather
done.
encourage a customer to do those
Yeah.
upgrades than to spend a bunch of money on a new unit.
Yeah.
Because also, not a real estate expert, but your AC unit does not change the value of your home.
Now, it does help with
It's-
sale of a
whether
house.
it's new or whether it's old, helps with the sale of the house.
But-
the SEER rating,
Yeah,
has
the manufacturer,
absolutely-
the SEER rating.
manufacturer
Yeah.
doesn't have anything to do with it. The SEER rating doesn't have anything to do with it. You could use it as a tag on a listing, but it is not going
It's
to
really
change
not
the
a
value.
selling point. No.
It's not equitable. It's just part of it.
Yeah. Now, if your unit's not working, that's going to be a difference.
Oh yeah, you need to have it.
Yeah, you need to have it, especially here in Tennessee.
However, if you change windows, if you change like update door gaps, insulation stuff, that is all equitable in
Yeah.
your home.
Yeah, that is something.
That's
that
why,
people-
yes, I'd much rather see customers make those upgrades than
Yeah.
put it into their HVAC unit.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
spend thousands of dollars to get the higher SEER rating to then go say, hey, look, this is all I pay in energy.
Because once you do those upgrades, and you live in your house for 10 years with this lower SEER rated unit, and you have all these upgrades done, and you've been taking care of your home, your next unit can be a higher SEER
Yeah,
rated.
exactly. Well, get the full life out of your unit, you
Yeah,
know?
solve all the major efficiency problems in the home, and then add a high efficiency system.
Yeah. That's the main.
There will be new regulations and new units and new refrigerant, I'm sure, by that time anyways.
Yeah.
We're going through one right now.
Yep.
Yeah, and when you're looking at units, you'll see SEER, SEER 2, or EAR on there. They're all just different ways of calculating that energy efficiency. So it's just depends on what it's pertaining to. And at the end of the day, like these guys have said, unless you're making all those other upgrades, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably get flack back. People in the comments
Oh,
will
yeah.
say a whole bunch of stuff. But, I mean, that's our opinion.
Because
That's
numbers
my
on the
opinion.
paper, yes, there's differences. You can make all the differences you want, but in
Yeah.
practical
reality-
Real life
applications, the
application.
people that we are servicing, the homes that we're going to, it's not. That's
They
just
have
not
much
the
bigger
re-
fish to fry than the
yes.
HVAC unit.
Yeah.
It's not the reality that they're.
Yeah, I mean, I
They're
could
facing.
spend a whole bunch of money on a new unit, sell them a brand new unit, higher SEER rating, and get that electric bill down. I can. But they're going to spend 3 times more money than just replacing your windows. And
They're great. Higher SEER rating. It's great for custom homes.
Yes.
They're being built
For-
with,
if-
with a lot of other energy efficiency upgrades designed into it.
yeah.
Excellent choice there.
And especially if we move to solar, it's really great to have those higher SEER ratings and solar and all that because then you're not on the grid no more.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're living in a modular, a mobile home, something like that, or even just an older home that hasn't been updated, you're not getting any benefit throwing a whole bunch more money at a fancy HVAC system.
Then to seal your house, get your house
Yeah.
sealed up, get it nice and comfortable, and that's kind of the main thing. You want to make sure you're a big thing that was in that class that they were trying to push was tinting windows on the sunny side. So if sun sets, if you don't have an awning, which is the first line of defense, if you can put an awning on there to block that sun, that direct sunlight, putting a tint on your window will help with that as well. So there's different ways of tackling energy efficiency that I find is more value for the money you spend than just throwing a brand new unit on this system. Now, if you've done all that, if your house is efficient and yet you still don't like your energy bill, go for it.
Let's
But
try
you-
the HVAC unit. Yeah.
But let's try to do the cheaper things first that have more of an impact than do the most expensive thing and kind of just fix the symptom and not the problem with the new unit.
Yeah, and another thing with efficiency is your ductwork, making sure it's sized correctly, it's well maintained, that you don't have holes or tears or rips or disconnections anywhere in it. That's also going to be a major
Don't
player.
allow anyone to put ductboard in your supply. I don't care if it's on the return, that's fine. Do not allow them to use ductboard on your supply because that will deteriorate and go to shit real quick. That's the most frustrating thing I see is
Also,
ductwork.
The house
zero
that
energy
I was
efficiency.
at yesterday, or that I finished at, the one that's like way out in
Yeah,
nowhere.
in the boonies.
Their whole system. So like the house is up on stilts.
Uh-huh.
So imagine your house elevated.
Yeah.
One half is like a enclosed garage workshop type
Yeah.
area. The other half is a drive-in, and their HVAC ducting is all ran just exposed inside that like drive area.
Yeah.
So and it's ductboard.
Oh my god.
Oh
So
no.
it's a ductboard box running along with vents that are
That
coming
is
out.
a lot of
And
energy loss.
She was asking me about the high energy bills, and I'm like sitting there going over in my head like, oh well, you know, this is an older house, windows, blah blah blah, kind of going over the basic stuff. And she was like, well, the windows were updated not that long ago, and whatnot. And it's not a big square footage,
Yeah.
and it's pretty tiny inside. So I'm like really thinking about it. And then we go outside again, and I look.
Ah,
That's where all your energy is going.
ta-da!
Yeah.
It's like this entire box, and I explained it to her. It's ductboard. It's essentially just thicker insulation, like pressed into a board,
Yeah.
and it's just this is a box made out of that stuff,
Yeah.
and it's just linked together. And then they drilled holes and they brought all the ducts out. I was like, but when your AC system's pumping cold air through this, it's just absorbing heat from outside
Yeah.
before it even gets into your home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it probably
R
takes a-
rating of that ductboard is
Nil compared
Yeah.
to what you're losing.
Well, and
yeah.
plus she's up on the mountain, or the house is up on the mountain, so that it's not super hot in the summer, but in the winter,
Freezing.
yeah, it's going to get super cold out
Yeah.
there. And that's the same
And-
thing. Like all your heat that's being generated from these electric heat strips, this electric heat pump,
yeah.
is just getting dumped outside before it even has a chance to get inside.
Yeah, those are the things, and in that situation, I would at least go with metal square duct, and that's insulated,
Well, I told her that
and then box it in.
the easiest, quickest fix you could do is try to box this in, like this
Yeah.
whole area, because even the floor, it was just like insulation's pressed up in between, but it's all exposed.
Yeah.
So, you know,
You
it's
gotta
all
box it.
hanging down at this point and deteriorating. I was like, if all this was closed in, you replace all this insulation, close all that in, and then create like a box cubby area around all this ducting. Like, you don't want to fill that with insulation or else nobody can get to
Yeah.
it, but you enclose this all in, it'll at least help.
Yeah.
Ductboard is the worst.
Yeah.
I don't like ductboard. I know, I get it. It's cheaper. It's way cheaper, way easier to install. But it's so terrible. It's just they leak always.
Yeah.
If you can get one of those cheap thermal guns, I guarantee you go up into your attic and the coolest spot is going to be that ductboard, and you're going to see it's seeping out of the dang thing. I don't know if it's like in the movies. I've never actually done it, but you know, I've never taken my heat camera up there just to test if the ductwork, other than to find a leak. And most of the time I'm looking at a specific spot, but I'm pretty sure that ductboard.
I still
It's
want to
just
get that
seeping out.
FLIR for the phone.
For the phone,
Yeah.
I've
Plug
been
in.
wondering about it. I wonder if it's actually any good. I mean, I got the radar gun, you know, the one that you just, you know, it has a little laser point and tells you the coldest spot and
Well,
hottest.
you have the temp gun, but
Yeah.
not the thermal camera.
It does.
Oh,
It has the
yeah,
temp gun
yeah.
and thermal camera. Yeah,
It's pretty nifty.
it's nice.
I like that thing.
It's just doesn't do. It's not as accurate as I'd like it to be, you
Yeah.
know. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it shows a wide variation
Yeah.
every time you point it at anything.
Yeah. So, ductboard, don't let people. I don't
Yeah.
recommend that on anyone. Energy efficiency wise, that ductboard is not helping you whatsoever. So ductwork's a very, very big thing on.
So the long story short for this discussion is there's a lot more factors in energy efficiency than just a number rating on an
Yes.
HVAC system.
Yep,
Yeah.
there's many things you can do to your home before you go with that more expensive, higher efficiency system. And once those are all done, that's a good time to have the conversation about that 20 plus SEER unit that you've got your eye on for $18,000 or more.
But
Trust us, the markup profit on it is fantastic for us, but
We rarely
it
ever
does-
install them because we
it
talk
doesn't
people.
cost us any more time or energy to install that unit
Yeah.
versus a lower SEER one.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
cutting the difference of it, but we
Yeah.
don't want
We-
we don't want to do that.
Yeah, we talk more people out of it than into it most of the time because your
The EPA is going to
average.
shut us down now. 'Cause
Well,
we're
you're-
talking them out of the
of
sewer.
course.
We sleep much better at night knowing that we save people money
Yeah.
versus
Yeah,
making-
go
making-
ahead,
making
spend
my-
that $18,000 and see no difference on your energy
I
bill.
don't need to make the government happy.
Yeah.
That's not my job.
No.
My job is to make my customers happy. I want customers for life, not customers for that particular job.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something I want to deal with. But
All
anything
right,
else
well,
on that?
yeah,
Mike?
you guys got any
No.
more input? All right, well, just like on that
Fuck
sign
Sears.
there. Yeah, yeah. There's that. There's that for sure.
I thought you didn't stop. That's why I said that.
Oh, nope, sure didn't. Got you on camera, Mike. All right, the number there is 423-545-9062. If you're in the East Tennessee area between Knoxville and Chattanooga, go ahead and give us a call. We service the rural areas all around here, Monroe County, Roane County, Meigs, Brea, all of them. Loudon. We got you.
Too many.
AC without the BS. Alright? We're not going to BS you. We're going to tell you everything that we know, as much as
If
we
the
know.
thought crosses their minds, it's probably coming out of their mouths.
Yeah.
That is the God's
No.
honest truth about these boys.
My filters are like the mesh filter in my brain. I just go ahead and blurt it right
Yeah.
out.
90% of what goes through or goes on it goes right through it.
Yep, exactly.
All right, till next time. Thanks, guys.